Joe Biden is almost assuredly going to be the next. What the fuck is that? Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States, in all likelihood. Now, I know me saying that uh, is a major change from what I was saying just, 12 hours ago. About 14, 15 hours ago at this point. And, things have changed. The Red Mirage was correct. The Red Mirage is this theory that on election night, in a lot of the Midwestern states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, they are not allowed to start counting mail-in votes until either the polls close or until the morning of election day, whereas other states can process them a hell of a lot quicker. So that means that the first results that are reported on election night are in-person votes. That can be in-person early or just in-person in general. And in-person votes this year were heavily skewed to Donald Trump because Democrats were more likely to vote by mail because they took the pandemic a little bit more seriously. So what that means is that on election night, it would appear as though Trump was winning big. Trump was up by like 15 points in Michigan last night, or at least like 10 by the time that I stopped filming yesterday's vlog. Joe Biden's up by like 0.6 points now. They called the race for Joe Biden in Michigan and in Wisconsin. He was losing in both of those states, and Trump's lead in Pennsylvania has been cut in half since then. Joe Biden could very likely still sweep the three Midwestern states. I don't know if he'll do it, but he could. He could win Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania and win the election. It's weird to say this, but like fairly comfortably, even though it's not because the margins were not that good for him, At least they don't appear to be at this point in time. So basically, the situation now is Biden has won Michigan. He's flipped Michigan and Michigan and Wisconsin, which means that all he has to do is hold on to his lead in Arizona and his lead in Nevada, and he will end up with 270 electoral votes. Exactly. Which is enough to win. Barely. And so if he does that, he will become president. I feel like that is very likely, but I don't know exactly. We don't have definitive answers on what vote is left. It looks as though it favors Joe Biden in Nevada and Arizona, but I have seen some states count their mail-ins right away, which are heavily Democratic, and then Trump gains throughout the night. Others count their mail-ins last, and Biden gains as more votes are counted. So really, it swings both ways, and it's really difficult to tell exactly what's going on. So, assuming that all Joe Biden has to do right now to become president is hold on to his leads in Arizona in Arizona and Nevada. However, he is within like 1.4 points in Georgia right now, something like that. If I can do the math, yeah, I think it's about 1.4 points in Georgia, which again was one of my sleeper picks. I thought Georgia was going to be really close, and it looks like it's going to be under 1%. I think Trump ends up edging it out just barely, but I don't know. So yeah, Biden still has a chance to win Georgia, and he has a chance to win Pennsylvania. So we could end up still seeing a scenario where Joe Biden gets over 300 electoral votes. And last night it looked like Trump was going to have like 330. I mean, it was crazy. But I mean it really made me step back today and really reevaluate the way I consume election coverage a little bit, because like I knew all of this was likely to happen before I started like following this yesterday. I knew that the Red Mirage was a thing that could happen, and I just like people start freaking out. People on TV are like, "Wow, that lead looks crazy." And I do put this on cable news a little bit, in that they were not giving enough caveats and enough reminders about which states counted mail-ins first, which ones counted in person first, and it led to a lot of confusing results, where Trump would come out to a big lead and then Biden would catch up, or Biden would come out to a big lead in a state like Ohio. God, Biden had like a 12-point lead in Ohio with like 40% of the vote, and then Trump ends up winning Ohio by like 5 or 6 points or something like that. It's just insane. It's, but like I knew all of that was a possibility, except for the Biden jumping out to a big lead. I didn't account for that in my brain, that Biden could jump out to like this huge like 12-point lead, and then Trump could roar back and win by 5 in Ohio. That didn't make sense to me, so that was a surprise. But like the Red Mirage scenario where Trump jumps out to the big lead, I totally knew that could happen, and yet I just shut my brain off and was like, oh my god, Biden's getting crushed. What the hell has happened? And yes, polls were wrong again. They were wrong. But Biden had such a huge lead in them, 8 to 10 points in some, that he looks like he's going to be able to squeak this out. Now, unfortunately for Biden and unfortunately for Democrats, they're not going to take back the Senate in this election. Huge missed opportunity. Like, they're just losing everything. They lost Susan Collins' seat, the Iowa seat, fucking McGrath. They spend like $200 million or some bullshit like that in Kentucky to try and beat McConnell, and McGrath gets like 40% of the vote. What the fuck? Just like idiots. Like, if they would have taken half that money and put it into the Iowa seat, or put it into the Montana seat even, or the North Carolina seat, they would have had the frickin' Senate probably. Maybe. I don't know. The Senate is so skewed towards Republicans and so skewed toward rural demographics. Like, it's just, the Senate is essentially like a lost cause now, unless, you somehow reform the way that the Senate works, which I don't know how you would do. But, I mean, it's just insane how, you have as many senators from Wyoming as you have from California. Anyway, not trying to get into that too deep here, but anyway, main thing here is Biden's going to win this election. Trump came out last night and basically said, "Oh, hey, I won, woohoo," and it's like, no, you fucking didn't. First of all, none of the votes were counted. I mean, it looked like he had a pretty decent shot of winning last night, but I mean, totally irresponsible and dictatorial. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, he wants to steal the election. He has said that. He wants us to stop counting votes. He wants us to stop counting votes in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania because he was winning. Then he turns around and he's like, "Hey, we got to count all these votes in Arizona and Nevada because I could end up winning there." You're a fucking hip. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Trump's a fucking hypocrite, and he's a loser who's going to lose to a guy who says malarkey unironically. Frickin' Ice Cream Joe, who's, like, "Oh, I like ice cream." And I was like, what the... Trump is a loser, and he's going to lose this election. And you know what? Good. He deserves to lose this election. He is a horrible... he lied to his supporters. He continues to lie to his supporters. Thousands of American deaths are directly related to his slow and sluggish reaction on coronavirus masks, getting, the post office had a plan to send out masks to every American household. His White House nixed that plan. I mean, tax bill that it's actually a net tax increase on the middle class over a 10-year period, and whereas most of it goes to the super wealthy, Trump's friends. He's a fucking con man, and if you voted for him, you got conned. Okay, I'm done with this. This is over. Okay, Joe Biden's gonna win. It should have been Bernie Sanders. Bernie would have won by 6-7% in the popular vote. Probably would have gotten about 320, 330 electoral votes. I mean, it's just. And now we're gonna have Joe Biden with a Republican Senate, a Democratic House. They might even lose House seats. I don't think they will end up losing House seats, or if they do, they might only lose one or two. But you're going to have a divided Congress, a president who, okay, yeah, he likes to compromise and stuff, but all of your compromises are going to be, watered down, basically Republican plans, because Democrats never force Republicans to negotiate to the left. They always, happily go along to the right with whatever compromise they want to do. So, the first, at least the first 2 years of a Biden presidency is just going to be, a bunch of executive orders, and half of them are going to go to the courts and get slapped down anyway. So, I mean, you love it, right? You love. No, you don't love it. This is why people say that they don't follow politics, or they don't care about politics, or they've checked out of the political process, because it's exhausting. And most people don't even get this far deep into the rabbit hole to where they can talk about how shitty it is that how nothing's going to get done with this divided government, and it's just, they're just like, oh, I don't think Obama cared about me. I don't think Trump cared about me. I don't give a fuck if they care about you or not. Okay, I take that back. I care if they care about us, but I care if they can get anything good done, And I mean, you fucking have Mitch McConnell leading the Senate again, at least until 2022. Like, what? I mean, it's just, I don't know. And in 2022, that's not a guarantee that Democrats are going to be able to pick up seats. It's not. That 2022 is basically, it's if Biden gets nothing done in his 2 years, people are going to be pissed off. And usually the midterm election between inauguration and a president's first re-election campaign, usually that is an absolute bloodbath for the incumbent party. So we could very well end up with Republicans having a super majority or something crazy like that, 60 votes in the Senate. And I don't know. Sorry if you can hear Babs. He's like eating his foot right now. It's very weird. So listen, I mean, Democrats need to do some real serious soul searching if they want to actually have real power that they can do things with. But part of me doesn't think that they want it. I mean, I know that's like a really weird, like, pseudo conspiracy theory, but if they don't have, all three branches, or all three chambers of, bless you, Babs, all three chambers of government, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, then they can just blame Republicans and fundraise off the fact that Republicans are blocking all of their shit. So they don't even have to be held accountable for getting shit done. Biden doesn't have to be held accountable for not getting a $15 minimum wage, or getting a substantial climate deal done because he can just say, "Oh, Republicans blocked it." Whereas if Democrats had, 52, 53 seats in the Senate, then there's no excuse. Get the shit done. But now they have a built-in excuse. They can fundraise off the fact that Republicans are obstructionists, and that's just how it's going to be for another 2 to 4 years until hopefully a some sort of a progressive gets the Democratic nomination. I think of Nina Turner. I think of not Bernie. Bernie's going to be too old, unfortunately. I think of AOC. I think of Nina Turner. Sherrod Brown to a lesser extent. There's options, but it's yeah, we'll see. I believe that Joe Biden's going to be the next president of the United States, and if they call it tonight, then I will let you guys know. Now, Trump has already come out and said basically, yeah, we're going to try and get these votes to stop being counted. And, he wants a recount, which, is fair. Like, you can ask for recounts. But, Trump is not, it's not like he's going to concede tonight. It's, but we will know, I think, tonight or early tomorrow if Joe Biden has won, if he has clinched it. So, we'll see. I'll update you if anything else happens tonight. Joe Biden is only behind by 57,000 votes in Georgia right now. There's still like 5% of the vote to be counted, and I believe most of that is Democratic vote. Crazier things have happened. In North Carolina, he's only down by like 70,000. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. He's probably going to lose North Carolina, but Joe Biden could win Georgia, and then all of a sudden, my prediction video looks really good somehow. Maybe it's dumb luck. So I never ended yesterday's vlog because I was waiting for, just in case there was any big dramatic news. And it didn't really come. I can report on, vote, seeping out, of these counties, but it's not worth that much. By itself. So yeah, I'm ending the vlog now. Hope you guys had a good day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.